morning.
Good morning.
We are again back in Davos. Like every year, we have a very comprehensive agenda in all sessions. There are many important issues, but three issues I think is at the top of our agenda. One is refugee issue, the humanitarian crisis. This morning we had a meeting with Ban Ki-moon regarding the coming humanitarian, first ever in the history, humanitarian summit in Istanbul, where of course the refugee issue will be discussed. There are today 73 million refugees in the world and 125 IDPs plus refugees. So it is a big issue of all human beings and international organizations. And Turkey is the biggest refugee hosting country in the world. Therefore, both for global agenda and for Turkish agenda, this is very important. Second is fighting against terrorism. Terrorism is a threat to all humanity again. And nowhere and nobody is immune of terrorism. In Istanbul, there was an attack 2 weeks ago, as you know. In Paris, we had terrible terrorist attacks. So there is a need of a global awareness regarding refugee issue as well as terrorism. To fight against terrorism is an important subject in Davos as well, and in every forum we are talking on this. And Turkey, right at the center of many important issues, events of global politics in Afro-Eurasia, facing big challenges regarding to fighting against terrorism and refugee issues at the same time. The third is global economic crisis. Despite of all measures being taken by international organizations and global economic powers, still there is a global volatility in financial markets. As you know, we hosted G20 last November to share all these concerns, and we hope the global reaction to economic crisis will be fruitful to promote growth in the world economy and to prevent unemployment and to decrease inflation. This is a major challenge for all of us, and as Turkey, as the chair last year of G20, and as a country which is for which economic growth is important. With EU, we are upgrading our custom union, as well as in several sessions, I declared a very comprehensive economic reform agenda of Turkey, and I had chance to see many CEOs, investors here in Davos to share our view for economic reforms after the election in November. Now we have 4 years stability in Turkey without any new election. So I had chance to see many international investors for our future projections of reforms and economic growth in Turkey, because Turkey is now one of the fastest growing economy in the world, 4%. So all this positive and of course critical agenda is on the table, and we will continue to have several sessions in Davos to share and to consult with our counterparts. Okay, thank you.
How much pressure is the U.S. putting on Turkey to better protect refugees in Syria?
How much
Pressure is the U.S. putting on Turkey?
No, the concept of pressure is not right concept between allies, first of all. But there is a very close coordination between Turkey and U.S. To fight against terrorism, as well as to find a political solution in Syria. And Vice President Biden will be coming to Ankara this Saturday, and this coordination will continue because Turkey is the country who are paying the price of all instabilities in Syria and Iraq, and especially because of the inability of UN Security Council regarding Syrian crisis until now. Refugees are coming to Turkey. Terrorism is a threat to Turkey. So therefore, the concept of pressure is not. We have the right to make pressure on international community to solve Syrian crisis. Nobody has such an intention. And between Turkey and US, the only concept is cooperation and strategic solidarity as allies.
Do you think there is a solution to the Syrian crisis that is not a military solution? Does it include President Assad?
There must be a solution. After almost half of Syrian population have been removed from their places as IDPs and refugees, hundreds of thousands of them were killed. Now you know what is going on in Madaya. where there is starvation and children and people are dying there. So international, it is our responsibility, international community's responsibility, but first UN Security Council responsibility to find a solution. Until now, international community was not successful. We hope that there could be a solution in this coming political process, and I had a lengthy meeting with Ban Ki-moon just 1 hour ago about the future meetings. Here, important thing is there should not be any imposition on opposition, moderate opposition side. They are representing and they are well organized. And two things are important. One is humanitarian access to all those who need humanitarian assistance, especially Madaya, and there should be a pressure on Syrian regime, and if there is anybody else preventing humanitarian access, on those as well, before this political dialogue starts. Secondly, war crimes. We have to be acting together against war crimes like what is going on in Madaya, and using barrel bombs, chemical weapons against civilians. So at least on these two grounds we can agree, but there is a need, not just it is a choice, but it is a necessity to have a solution. Otherwise, many more millions of people will be migrating as refugees to Turkey, to Europe, everywhere, and the global character of the crisis will continue.
So you will not seal the border with Syria?
What?
You will not seal the border with Syria?
For refugees, for refugees, we have open door policy, and that is our historic tradition. And until now, we never stopped any refugee to come in Turkey. Regarding terrorists, we are fighting against them. Now moderate opposition is fighting against Daesh, but unfortunately the opposition who was fighting against Daesh is being attacked by Russian airplanes and by the regime. So all of us, we have to fight against terrorism and against all oppressors killing civilians in Syria. Thank you.
Sayın Başbakan, buyurun efendim. Geç kalıyoruz.